Guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I'd like to share one of my favorite books of the winter time, and that is The Legend of the Poinsettia. And this is a story that is retold and illustrated by Tomie dePaola, but it's a story that has originated in Mexico and is a really beautiful story with really beautiful illustrations. It was retold and illustrated by Tomie dePaola in 1994, and I hope you really enjoy this story. Here we go. The Legend of the Poinsettia. I'll get close so you can see the cover. And the village. And this is their home. Lucida lived in a small village high up in the mountains of Mexico with her mama, her papa, and her younger brother and sister, Paco and Lupe. Papa worked in the fields with their burro, Pepito. Every evening, Lucida fed Pepito, gave him fresh water, and filled his stall with clean straw. So this is Lucida and her papa and her mama and Lupe and Paco, her brother and sister. But every day was not work. On Sundays, the family went to San Gabriel in the square where Padre Alvarez said the Mass. And all through the year there were fiestas and holy days, which always began with a procession that wound through the village and ended in San Gabriel. So they would have different celebrations throughout the year, and they would have kind of parades, and all of the parades would end at their church, San Gabriel. One day, close to Christmas, La Navidad, Padre Alvarez came to their casita. "Ah, Señora Martinez, buenos dias, good day," Padre Alvarez said. "I'm here to ask you about the blanket which covers the figure of the baby Jesus in the Christmas procession. We have used the same one for so many years that it is almost worn out. Because your weaving is so fine, I have come to ask if you can make a new one." "Mi padre," Lucida's mother said. "I would be honored, and Lucida will help me." So the father, Padre Alvarez, who works at the church, comes to Lucida's home and asks her mama if she'll make a new blanket for the church because the old one is getting worn out, and she says, "I would do it, and my daughter will help." On Saturday, Lucida and Mama went to the market to buy the wool for the blanket. They chose the finest yarn they could find. At home, Lucida helped Mama dye the wool the colors of the rainbow. "Those colors will shine throughout the church," Papa said, as he watched Lucida and Mama string the yarn onto the loom. So first they went to the village and they picked out yarn, very nice yarn, and they went home and they dyed the yarn. Now, we're used to just going to the store when we want new sweaters or new clothes, but during the time of this story, people had to use what is called a loom, where they put lots of strings and you weave in and out and press it down, and it takes a very, very long time. As Christmas drew closer, everyone in the village was busy. All the mamas were making gifts to place at the manger of the baby Jesus in the church. The papas worked together putting up the manger scene in San Gabriel. Lucida and the other children went to the church for singing practice for the Christmas Eve procession, when everyone would walk to San Gabriel singing and carrying candles. Once inside, Padre Alvarez would lay the figure of the baby Jesus in the manger, and the villagers would go up and place their gifts around it. Our gift will be the blanket for the baby Jesus, Lucida told her friends. I am helping Mama weave it. So you can see that at home they're working very hard to get things ready for the holidays, and so are the papas at the church. And Lucida is pretty proud of herself, and she is telling all of her friends that her family is making a new blanket. It's very important. One afternoon, a few days before Christmas Eve, Lucida and the children were singing in the church when Senora Gomez came hurrying in. Lucida, you must come home. Your mama is sick and your papa has taken her down to the town to see the doctor. You must take care of your brother and sister until your papa returns tonight. Lucida was frightened. Mama had never been sick before. When she got home, Paco and Lupe were crying. They were frightened too. Lucida tried to comfort them. She made them some food and sat down to wait for Papa. That evening, Papa came in looking tired and worried. He drew Lucida close and said, Lucida, mi niña, your mama is ill. Your aunt, Tia Carmen, will take care of mama until she is well. But I must go back and stay with mama until I can bring her home. But it won't be until after Christmas. Senora Gomez will take care of you and Paco and Lupe while I am gone. She will come for you tomorrow. So the Senora Gomez comes and picks up Lucida and says she has to go home. Her mama is sick, and she has to go home and take care of her brother and sister. And when her papa finally comes home, he says, Your mama is sick, and I have to go and take care of her, and Senora Gomez is going to take care of you and your brother and sister. Now, he also says that he and Mama are not going to be home until after Christmas. So what does that mean for the blanket? Do you think it's almost done? The next afternoon, Lucida overheard two women talking. Lucida's mama is ill. She won't be able to finish the blanket for the procession. Isn't it a shame? See, said the other woman, we are all so disappointed. Padre Alvarez will have to use the old, worn-out one. Ugh. When Lucida went home to feed Pepito and get clothes for Paco and Lupe and herself, she looked at the unfinished blanket on the loom. Perhaps I can finish it, she thought. But when she sat down and tried to weave, the yarn got tangled. The more she tried to untangle it, the worse it got. It was no use. She could never finish it by herself. So Lucida is hearing these other women in the village, and they're not saying very nice things about her mama. And it's not Mama's fault that she got sick. And so I think Lucida goes and says, I don't want them talking bad about my mama, so maybe I'll finish the blanket. But she's still learning, and it just made a big tangly mess. She took the unfinished blanket to Senora Gomez. Oh, Lucida, it is so tangled. There isn't time for me to fix it, Senora Gomez told her. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. Lucida started to cry. It was her fault the blanket was ruined. Her family wouldn't have a gift to place at the manger of the baby Jesus. Don't worry, Lucida. We will all go to the procession together. Lucida didn't say anything, but in her heart, she felt like she had ruined Christmas. So she did the right thing and she asked Senora Gomez for help. But there's such a big tangly mess that Miss Senora Gomez says there isn't time. And Lucida feels very bad. She thinks that she has ruined Christmas. Now, do you think that's possible? Can Christmas be ruined? Come, Paco, come, Lupe. It's time to go to the procession, Senora Gomez called on Christmas Eve. Where is Lucida? She was nowhere to be found. Lucida was hiding. From the shadows, Lucida watched everyone gather for the procession. The candles were lit, the singing began, and the villagers walked to San Gabriel, carrying gifts to place at the manger. Lucida walked along in darkness and watched the procession go into the church, followed by Padre Alvarez carrying the baby Jesus. So you can see everyone is going inside, and Lucida's watching from behind everybody. She's hiding. She might feel a little embarrassed or sad still. Little girl! And are you Lucida? An old woman stood in the shadows nearby. Si, Lucida answered, wondering who she was. I have a message for you. Your mama is going to be fine, and your papa will bring her home soon. So you don't have to worry. Go now into the church and celebrate Christmas with the others. Paco and Lupe are waiting for you. I can't, Lucida told her. I don't have a gift for the baby Jesus. Mama and I were weaving a beautiful blanket, but I couldn't finish it. I tried, but I only tangled it all up. Ah, Lucida, any gift is beautiful because it is given, the old woman told her. Whatever you give, the baby Jesus will love, because it comes from you. But what can I give now? Lucida asked, looking around. So this mysterious woman comes to Lucida and she says, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. And even though Lucida says, no, it's not, and she says, don't worry, if you have a present that you give with your heart, that it will be okay and someone will appreciate it. A patch of tall green weeds grew in a tangle nearby. Lucida rushed over and picked an armful. Do you think these will be all right? Lucida turned to ask the old woman. But she was gone. Lucida walked into the church. It was blazing with candlelight, and the children were singing as she walked quietly down the aisle with a bundle of green weeds in her arms. What is Lucida carrying? A woman whispered. Why is she bringing weeds into the church? Another one murmured. Lucida reached the manger scene. She placed the green weeds around the stable. Then she lowered her head and prayed. So you can see she just found some weeds outside and decided to take those in. And as she's walking through the church, everyone's like, what's going on? This is crazy. What is that? Why is she bringing that in here? But she took them up proudly and she started to pray. A hush fell over the church. Voices began to whisper. Look at the weeds. Lucida opened her eyes and looked up. Each weed was tipped with a flaming red star. The manger glowed and shimmered as if lit by 100 candles. So you can see at the end of each of the weeds, a beautiful red star or flower bloomed, and it looked like the whole church was glowing. When everyone went outside after the Mass, all the clumps of tall green weeds throughout the town were shining with red stars. Lucida's simple gift had indeed become beautiful. And every Christmas to this day, the red stars shine on top of green branches in Mexico. The people call the plants La Flor de Nochebuena, the flower of the holy night. The poinsettia. The end. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted to learn more about the poinsettia, there are lots of great stories about the legend of the poinsettia, but this is definitely one of my favorites, and it really talks a lot about here and Christmas time and why we see the poinsettia and why it's a special plant for this time of the year. If you enjoyed the story, The Legend of the Poinsettia, please hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you're not a subscriber yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down here at the bottom of the page. And don't forget to click that bell so that you're notified when there's new content. Have a nice day, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.